Have you ever given your loved ones plastic flowers?
No.
Let's do better than plastic. Have you ever given your loved ones silk flowers?
My wife's
She's shaking her head. No. Why not? Why are you giving her flowers that you know in advance will die? I know the answer. Because knowledge that the flowers will die magnify the meaning and the attention you give it while they're alive. Now, let me pull something out of my ass. Why is the dog so excited to see you when you come home? The dog only lives 14 years. Just imagine your entire life you now have to experience in 14 years. What would you do? Every day outside, we'd be, oh my gosh, there's a sun, there's this. Oh my gosh, oh, someone's butt I can smell. Another butt. Let me smell as many butts as I can. Oh my gosh.
I strongly agree and strongly disagree with Neil. I'm going to tell you my reasoning for both and then introduce a brand new philosophical model. I call it mortal fidelity. This is a very reasonable argument. I love this argument. If you were forced to live forever, it would probably end up being torture eventually, especially if no one else got to live forever. This is the classic argument. You would have to watch all of your loved ones die. And assuming the entire human race would eventually reach extinction, you would be left all by yourself, imprisoned by your own lonely existence. At some point, it's statistically likely that you would lose maybe some limbs or lose some kind of mobility. You would be maybe powerless. You could end up floating around in space with nothing but your thoughts. All the stars could die out. You could just be trapped. And there is something to be said about life becoming more beautiful when you know there isn't that much of it. It's kind of like when you get a small milkshake, it can actually taste better than a large milkshake because you know you have to savor it while you have it. You get a large, you just end up slurping it down like some moist cooch without even thinking about it because you're like, oh, I have so much left. I can just mindlessly sip on this John. By the time you're done, you're like, where did all my milkshake go? Tim O'Brien, in his book about the Vietnam War, discussed how he and his friends were so close to death that they would look around at nature and admire it with such awe. Being closer to death brought them closer to life. This is an intelligent argument, and Neil is an intelligent man. He's the fucking man. And also, if there is an afterlife, if you live forever, you never get to experience what that's like, and that would be terrible. Unless you're going to hell, then it would be fucking awesome, but that's not really what we're talking about. I do have some stark problems with this argument that I can't ignore. For one thing, it kind of comes off as a bit of a coping strategy. It's like when you get rejected by a girl and you go back to your boys and you're like, yeah, she said no, but once I got up close, she had that mole on her left cheek. I wasn't really messing with that mole on the left cheek, and she was kind of smelly. Like, she didn't smell bad, but she smelled like a grape Jolly Rancher, and I don't really fuck with the grape flavor of the Jolly Rancher. I never even give them a single suck, so it's low-key a good thing. I don't even want her anymore because we're kind of stuck this way. We know we're all gonna die at some point, so it's better to just recognize it as a good thing. Secondly, I would argue that something doesn't necessarily have to last for a short time for you to admire the beauty of it. Consider, for example, a forest filled with evergreen trees and evergreen plants, something you might see up in a more northern longitude. I could walk through a forest like that every single day of my life and never get sick of it. I would always be finding new things to admire and new details to explore. And then when I think about my wife, I hate to say it, but 70 years isn't enough time to spend on this planet with her. I hate to get sappy, but it's just the truth. I want to spend 15 lifetimes with her. And if you're depressed, that's kind of a different story. I had major depression for years. I wanted to die every single day. But that's just a whole different discussion to me. I have come to see depression as more of a disease of modernity than of anything else. I wouldn't call it a defect of life itself. That's a discussion for a whole other video. On top of that, there's just so much complexity to this reality that we have yet to explore. There's so many planets and solar systems, so many species on Earth that we haven't discovered, so many secrets of the quantum world that we have yet to see, so much music that hasn't been made, so many types of food that haven't been created yet. And then think about that Vsauce video about all the stuff we're gonna miss, like the Andromeda Galaxy colliding with the Milky Way. Now, I would say all of this is null and void if you have to be old and decrepit, like all the longevity therapies that exist for people who are already 95 years old trying to get an extra 10 years. Like, what's the quality of life there? This is a philosophical hypothetical where you don't necessarily age, let's say. So no, I don't want to live forever. If I had to choose between the two, I would rather just live 70 years. But why does it have to be black and white like that? What about living for 500 years, being in your prime? What about 1,000? What's wrong with that? There's definitely negative connotations surrounding it because so many villains in books and movies are trying to live forever. That's kind of a thing that villains do. And it's also associated with the top 0.1%, which a lot of people hate. I have a good amount of disdain for them myself. They're all trying to live forever while we are just sitting here like, yeah, I'm fucked. Nothing I can do about it. But as a pure philosophical debate, I would like to propose a new optimal scenario called mortal fidelity. Mortal freedom would maybe be another good term. It's very simple. I want to be the one who decides when I die. die. Not a chronic illness, not a car accident, not another human being, not old age. I want it to be me. Not that I think I'm going to get this luxury, but this is what I would want. Only if everyone else got it, though. But you're not allowed to just push a button and have it happen, because then you have like one string of bad days and you're like, ah, fuck it. And if it's secure enough to where you don't get trapped immortal on accident, then you would meet one of two realities. Option one, you eventually get to a point where you've explored everything in life you want to explore, you feel satisfied with your life, and then you decide, okay, it's time for me to go. My time has come. I'm ready. Reality number two would be that you never get satisfied and you just want to keep living and living and living. What's so wrong with that? It should be your choice. It's your life. It's your body. Do I ever think we'll be able to accomplish something like this? Probably not. Seems really hard, but this is my hypothetical, my YouTube video. I'm allowed to say whatever the fuck I want. If you disagree, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Anything you have to say. I don't know everything. You don't know everything. We all can benefit from each other's ideas. Thank you for watching. My name is Luke. This is Castles in the Air. Goodbye.